Shalom, shalom. That's my title today. Now, I've said it twice because I love a verse in Isaiah 26, verse 3, where the Holy Spirit inspired the prophet to say, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on the Lord." In other words, our mind has got to be on Jesus, not on all our problems. Shalom, shalom. If something is repeated like that, it's the Hebrew Bible way or the Hebrew scroll way, because it wrote the scriptures on scrolls, of putting in underlining or in bold what we would do on a computer nowadays. They couldn't do that. They didn't have the technology to do that, so they repeated the word. Remember in Isaiah 6, holy, holy, holy. Now, it isn't written 3 times for no reason. It's the stress that angels are singing, holy, holy, holy. So repeating a word in Hebrew and probably in Greek, it means that you are emphasizing the word. Now, I like to use this diagram. I use this all the time. Spirit, soul and body from 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 23. We are a spirit, we have a soul, we have a personality, mind, will and emotions, and we live in the body. Now, that's well known. But so many people forget how God created them. They do not remember the fact that they are a human being. They are rather a human doing. There's a little phrase in English that says this: hurry, worry, and bury. In French they say metro, boulot, dodo. Metro is the train, boulot is the work, and dodo is the sleep. That's a pattern. So if we just rush through life and say, well, who are you? Well, I'm the executive of a particular firm, or I've got a very good secretarial job, or I'm this, that, I'm a nurse, I'm this. We define ourselves by what we do. Now, I used to do that. I'm David, I'm a teacher, defining myself by what I do. And so many people get to the end of their life or retirement age, and they kind of die very quickly because the whole raison d'etre, sorry, keep going back in French, whole reason for living is what they do. We are human beings, and God made us to communicate, have fellowship, and love Him. Now, we can't do that if we don't have peace in our soul. So Jesus knew this, and so I'm going to look at some scriptures in John 16. Now, people say, well, the state of the world today, David, I mean, isn't it in a terrible state? And what are we going to do? Well, Jesus said at the end of his instructions, just before he was going to be crucified, he made this statement. He says, I've told you these things, all the things he told us in John 14:15, now in chapter 16 as well. I've told you all these things so that you may have perfect peace. That's why he bothered saying all that stuff. In the world, you will have tribulation, trials, distress, frustration. Don't we know it? But be of good cheer. Take courage. Be confident. For I have overcome the world, and I love this in the Amplified Bible. I have deprived it of power to harm you. The world can't harm me. Viruses can't harm me. People can't attack me. I'm shielded. That peace of Jesus shields me. That's why Jesus told us all these things, because we have his word. We say, but yeah, it looks like that, but God said, and I live by the word. I don't live by my circumstances. I recommend it. It's a better way of living. Back a couple of chapters into John 14 and verse 27. This is what Jesus said as he knew he was going to be crucified. This is what he said. Peace I leave with you, my own peace I give you and bequeath to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Do not let your heart be troubled, neither let yourself be afraid. And then in brackets, stop allowing yourself to be agitated and disturbed. And do not permit yourselves to be fearful and intimidated. Don't allow it. You don't think like that. Don't be intimidated. Don't be disturbed. Jesus has given you his peace, his shalom, and it's a perfect peace. Now, I just finished with a couple of references, or one reference perhaps, from Philippians. Philippians is a very happy book. Paul wrote it from jail. If he was looking at his circumstances, he would realise that his feet were in stocks, couldn't move them, and he dictated this letter. So in Philippians 4, verse 6 and 7, in the Amplified, do not fret or have any anxiety about anything, but in every circumstance and in everything, by prayer and petition, definite requests, let your wants be made known to God. Now, if you do that, what's going to happen? And God's peace shall be yours, that tranquil state of a soul assured of its salvation through Christ, and so fearing nothing. When we've got God's peace that he gives us, we say, Lord, I just thank you. I've got the Holy Spirit. One of the fruits of the Spirit is peace. I don't have to beg you for peace. You give it me. You give it me freely. It's a free gift. And I am going to let that peace permeate. Like dunamis, the power in my soul, peace, shalom, permeate your soul and keep you in that tranquil state of mind all day. That's the way to live. No more worrying, no more hurrying. Just walk as Jesus walked. He didn't run to places. He walked. Let's follow his example.